Hello everyone, welcome back to the Global Alert TV channel. Please subscribe and like my videos. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and strategically significant developments in the ongoing Ukraine-Russia conflict, the Ukrainian drone strike on a Russian oil refinery, a move that not only demonstrates Ukraine's evolving technological capability but also sends a powerful signal about the future of modern warfare, energy vulnerability, and asymmetric defense strategy. To understand this event completely, we must unpack how it happened, what technologies made it possible, what kind of safety measures or countermeasures were involved on both sides, why this strike stands out as a unique selling point in Ukraine's drone warfare doctrine, what the potential economic and geopolitical costs are, and ultimately what conclusions can be drawn from it. So let's explore this story in depth. Over the past year, Ukraine's defense industry and intelligence forces have shifted from a defensive posture to a proactive and precision-focused strategy, using long-range drones to hit strategic energy sites deep within Russia, many of them hundreds of kilometers away from the front lines, and these operations have proven that Ukraine's engineering and tactical innovation are capable of reaching targets previously thought untouchable. One such attack recently struck a large refinery in Russia's Orenburg region, a facility responsible for refining a significant portion of Russia's domestic and export-bound fuel, and satellite images as well as eyewitness footage confirmed black smoke rising high into the sky, symbolizing not just an isolated explosion but a broader disruption in Russia's fuel supply network. What makes this event extraordinary is the distance and precision. Ukrainian-made drones flew deep across Russian territory, evading multiple layers of radar and air defense systems, and struck key modules of the refinery with remarkable accuracy, likely targeting distillation towers or catalytic cracking units, which are the heart of the refining process, because damaging these specific components doesn't just cause immediate fire but cripples the entire refinery's production chain. Reports from Ukrainian defense insiders suggest the drones used may have been of the Luti class, a long-range loitering munition designed domestically by Ukraine, which combines advanced navigation, AI-guided targeting, and low radar signature flight profiles. It is powered by a fuel-efficient engine, built mostly from composite materials, and equipped with a powerful warhead capable of destroying large industrial modules in a single strike, and these drones are said to cost around $200,000 per unit, a relatively low price compared to a cruise missile that could cost millions. This cost efficiency gives Ukraine the flexibility to launch multiple simultaneous attacks, saturating Russian defenses and forcing them to spread resources thin across large geographic areas. Now, if we think about how such a drone mission is executed, it involves a complex chain of intelligence gathering, satellite imagery, weather prediction, electronic mapping, and route planning. The drone's path is plotted to avoid heavy radar zones, flying low over terrain contours or rivers where radar coverage is weaker, and sometimes decoy drones are launched alongside the main attack unit to confuse interceptors. In the case of the refinery strike, experts believe Ukraine may have used multiple drones, some serving as distractions, while one or two carried the main explosive payload, which would explain how Russian defenses were briefly overwhelmed despite their heavy presence of anti-air and radar systems around critical infrastructure. The success of the attack demonstrates both the accuracy of Ukraine's intelligence and the limitations of Russia's air defense network when stretched across vast territory. Now, if we turn to the safety and defense aspects of this event, we see that oil refineries are among the most sensitive industrial facilities in any country. They contain volatile chemicals, high-pressure systems, and extensive pipelines, meaning even a small explosion can cascade into massive fires and operational shutdowns. For this reason, Russian refineries are generally built with multiple layers of safety features such as reinforced control rooms, blast walls between major units, automatic fire suppression systems, and emergency venting procedures. But when a drone manages to strike at the heart of the plant, like a distillation column or reformer, these safety systems can only limit the damage, not prevent it entirely. During this strike, initial containment may have failed as local firefighting teams were seen working for hours to suppress flames, and reports suggest that 2 production units had to be completely shut down to avoid secondary explosions. In terms of air defense, Russia has installed point defense systems such as Pantsir S-1 and short-range interceptors near many energy sites, but the sheer number of critical facilities makes it impossible to protect every single one around the clock, and Ukraine has taken advantage of that vulnerability by varying the direction, timing, and altitude of their drone attacks. The safety aspect also applies to Ukrainian operations. Drones must be safely programmed and controlled to avoid friendly territory or civilian zones, and any technical malfunction can risk crash or misfire. Yet Ukraine's growing experience in precision guidance has dramatically improved the reliability rate. showing how indigenous innovation and international support are shaping a new generation of cost-efficient weapons. Beyond safety, the unique selling point of this entire strategy lies in its asymmetric efficiency. With relatively small investments, Ukraine is achieving major strategic outcomes, damaging Russia's multi-billion-dollar oil industry and forcing Moscow to allocate additional resources toward domestic defense rather than frontline operations. Analysts have pointed out that these strikes serve multiple functions. They reduce Russia's fuel export capacity, limit military logistics, impose psychological pressure, and demonstrate technological parity with a much larger adversary. In modern warfare, psychological dominance often matters as much as physical damage, and by proving that it can strike anywhere, Ukraine is signaling to both domestic and international audiences that it retains control over initiative and timing. From a technical perspective, these drones' stealth profile, navigation resilience, and modular design make them a symbol of low-cost, high-impact innovation, similar to how Iran or Turkey developed their own drone ecosystems, but Ukraine's models are becoming uniquely advanced thanks to battlefield data and Western software integration. This ongoing iteration, each new strike teaching lessons that lead to further design refinements, means Ukraine's drone program is evolving faster than conventional weapons programs that require years of testing cycles. Now if we analyze the financial or price angle, the numbers are striking. Each Ukrainian long-range drone might cost roughly $200,000 to $250,000, including materials, avionics, payload, and communications hardware, while the damage inflicted on a single refinery could easily amount to tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars when factoring repair time, lost production, environmental cleanup, and export disruption. This means the cost-benefit ratio heavily favors Ukraine, making drone warfare a highly efficient form of economic attrition. For Russia, the repair process can take weeks or months because industrial components like distillation towers and catalytic crackers cannot be replaced overnight. They must be custom manufactured, often by foreign suppliers under sanctions, which further delays the process. In addition, every damaged refinery forces Russia to reallocate fuel supply routes, increase domestic transportation costs, and possibly import certain petroleum derivatives from alternative sources, effectively reversing the economic advantage it once enjoyed as a global energy exporter. Meanwhile, the symbolic damage is equally powerful. Every time smoke rises from a refinery deep inside Russia, it contradicts the Kremlin's narrative of invulnerability, demoralizing both the public and industrial sectors. The safety response within Russia has been to reinforce refinery perimeters, deploy additional jammers, and install anti-drone domes, netted or radar-linked protective structures designed to disrupt incoming drones before impact. But as experts have noted, these defenses are reactive and expensive, whereas offensive drones remain relatively cheap and flexible. This imbalance exemplifies the classic asymmetric dynamic where a smaller force uses innovation to stretch the resources of a larger one. The drones themselves are powered by efficient fuel engines capable of flying over 1,000 kilometers, equipped with GPS and inertial navigation systems to overcome jamming, and in some cases even carry optical sensors to confirm targets autonomously in the final seconds before impact. Such technological sophistication not only makes interception difficult but also showcases how rapidly Ukraine's domestic industry has matured under wartime pressure. Looking at the broader picture, the drone strike on Russia's refinery is more than an isolated incident. It represents the evolution of warfare into an era where artificial intelligence, automation, and cost-effectiveness redefine the battlefield. These drones can operate autonomously, swarm in groups, and share data in flight, making them adaptive and resilient. This is not just about Ukraine striking Russia, it's about setting a precedent for future conflicts where industrial and economic targets become as vulnerable as military ones. Now considering the safety consequences for the environment, such refinery strikes release toxic smoke, particulate matter, and hydrocarbons, raising short-term air quality concerns. Though both sides claim to minimize collateral impact, nevertheless, the visual of burning industrial complexes has a profound psychological and symbolic effect on global audiences, reinforcing the image of Ukraine's reach and Russia's exposure. Strategically, the strike also tests the boundaries of escalation. By targeting energy facilities rather than civilian cities, Ukraine maintains moral legitimacy while applying pressure on a vital sector. This balance is crucial in maintaining Western support, which depends on Ukraine's adherence to internationally acceptable rules of engagement. Furthermore, each successful strike provides Ukraine with valuable intelligence about Russia's response time, defense network layout, and radar capabilities, which can be fed back into future mission planning. This feedback loop is one of the key reasons why Ukraine's drone campaigns are becoming more effective over time. Another important factor is production scalability. While high-end drones like Luti are used for long-range precision attacks, Ukraine also employs smaller, cheaper drones for diversionary or reconnaissance roles, creating a tiered approach that confuses defenders. In contrast, Russia's counter-drone measures require expensive radar arrays, ammunition, and manpower, creating a sustainability challenge. The price of defending every potential refinery or depot far exceeds the cost of attacking it, which is why analysts predict Ukraine will continue to exploit this economic asymmetry in the months ahead. Let's also discuss the symbolic or unique selling narrative dimension. These strikes send a message not only to Russia but to global observers, that determination, intelligence, and innovation can offset raw size and resource disparities. This boosts Ukraine's standing among its allies and strengthens the argument for continued foreign aid and technology sharing. It also inspires other smaller nations to invest in indigenous drone technology as a means of deterrence against larger adversaries. Within Russia, the repeated refinery strikes create pressure on local governors and industrial managers, forcing them to justify budget overruns for security upgrades and to cope with production delays, which ripple through the national economy, affecting fuel prices, transportation costs, and even civilian morale. Now, thinking of the broader geopolitical implications, these strikes deepen the perception that modern warfare no longer respects traditional borders. Digital and aerial warfare can project influence across hundreds of kilometers without a single soldier crossing the line. It forces the world to reconsider the balance between offensive reach and defensive sustainability. This new drone paradigm blurs the line between military and economic targets, showing that victory may hinge not just on battlefield control but on who can cripple the other's infrastructure first. As we near the end of our discussion, let's reflect on what this means for the future. Ukraine's drone success demonstrates the democratization of warfare technology, where ingenuity and data-driven engineering can challenge even superpower-level defenses. The strategic lesson is clear: flexibility, speed of innovation, and integration of AI-guided systems now matter more than raw numbers or firepower. For Russia, the challenge is immense: to harden its industrial base, to maintain public confidence, and to adapt to a battlefield where geography offers no immunity. For the world, this is a wake-up call that energy infrastructure, refineries, and power grids are no longer civilian sanctuaries but active targets in modern conflicts. The Ukrainian drone strike on Russia's oil refinery thus becomes a symbol, not of destruction alone, but of transformation in the art of warfare, signaling a future where technology, intelligence, and courage redefine power itself. And with that, I thank you all for watching. Please subscribe, like, and stay tuned to Global Alert TV for more updates on the evolving dynamics of this extraordinary conflict.